I was talking with somebody at work last night during the night shift, and they saw me getting up and down from a chair and making all sorts of old man noises and moving like I've been, completely bashed up. Adductors, glutes, hamstrings, everything sore. And one of the guys at work said, "Oh my God, Ivan, this is like a couple of weeks in a row now that you're absolutely screwed. Like, what's going on? What have you done?" And I honestly don't know. I don't really know why I'm so freaking sore. During that PR run, I was doing even more volume. I was doing 5 sets of 5 with 180. And then I've deloaded, and since that, it feels like I've lost so much. I don't know, like the adductors have just disappeared. They can't really take 160 now for 5 sets of 5. Bizarre. I don't quite know why that is, but I've tried to come back with 180 for 3 sets of 5 the first day. I was sore for basically 10 days. I did 160, 7 sets of 5 on Sunday. Now was this Wednesday, and I'm just brutally sore. So I'm making all sorts of noises. I can't move around. I can run. I decided not to run today. But any sort of deep hip and knee flexion just is terrible. Like I feel like I'm tearing something in those muscles when I'm doing that. One way you can think about it and go, well, you're basically getting a stimulus from even less volume and work, which is amazing. That's awesome. But part of me is also thinking, damn, like I was hoping to go higher, not lower in the volume. So anyway, I'm gonna have to build up again to get to the same level I was, a month and a half ago. And that's kind of how it is. It's almost like 2 steps back, 1 step forward, or is it 2 steps forward, 2 steps back? I don't know. But in the absence of the volume work on squats, I've also dropped the strength. So that both of the two things are directly correlated. So when I can't do 185 sets of 5 on low bar squats and I can't manhandle like I was doing, I can't actually hit 220 and above weights anymore. So something is completely let go. Anyway, my kids are doing their absolute best to distract me. Look at them. Doing absolute best to distract me while I'm doing this. Anyway, on that note, let me hit 140 for 1. And let's struggle through this next set, I suppose. And wait for the DOMs to disappear. I mean, that's all you really can do. You just smash yourself and then stay sore for 4 or 5 days, waiting to recover. I thought even about doing some chest today. But part of me was like, yeah, sure, the chest and arms, upper body's ready, but my body's dealing with a massive amount of inflammation in the lower part of the body. If I add inflammation to the top half of the body as well, it's all coming from the same system. It's all the same system is trying to recover. Doesn't really matter where the muscles are sore. I think I need to just rest. And so this week, that means that I'm not gonna do chest. That's just the way it is. I'm putting all my bloody points into these, leg days. All right, let's see what I can do. This is why for such a long time I always had like this negative relationship with the idea of deloading, because literally, it feels like you go backwards. It feels like you go backwards, and it makes no sense to me. And so when I'm trying to convince myself to take a deload because I've exhausted everything, I can't progress anymore, I take a deload and I get screwed. Last year, after the crazy deadlift period, I took a deload and I came back and I started ramping up again, and I got injured in the first week. So screw that deload. And now this deload, I've come back completely relaxed, try to get back into training again, and I feel like I'm so far back. Because I have to remind you guys, during that first run, at the start of the PRs for the squats, you know, day one was 180 for 5 sets of 5. So what the hell did I do before that period? What led me to get so freaking ready for 185 sets of 5 on low bar? Then I spent 2 months doing that, thinking I'm making all sorts of progress, and I did unbelievably well. You know, up my squat by 22 kilos, fantastic. Then I take a deload, and I've come back to weaker than I did before the PR period. How the hell does that freaking make sense? How does that make sense? I'm basically doing all of the stuff that I thought was causing me to progress. The adductors, the abductors, low bar squats, everything I'm doing. But no, can't do it. Bizarre. Anyway, I have uploaded, or I've put up a poll for those hats. So if you can have a look at that and just chuck it down, it would be interesting to see what the split is in the community, what people reckon is better. And then once I get a few voices in that, a few answers, then I'll make a decision and I'll go from there. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.